Well, hello, Dr. Chris Lemmon here again. This is March, and this is my chat for March. I have a blog site, Wizards Catch, WIZARDSCACHE. So I blog once a month, and the theme this year was, let's quit complaining about or looking for and recognize that the chaos is amongst us. So let's just go ahead and see what we can do this year. Make this year the year 2021 that we're going to see what we can do to deal with this, rather than complaining about the world that we live in and wearing masks and running around in uh, isolated pieces. So that's what we started out theme about. We're going in now to March. This is the third month. I think that anytime you're going to start a new journey, a new project, a new something, you start, the first thing that comes to mind is how are you going to pay for it, right? I mean, it's like, how are we going to get the energy to make this work? How are we going to put this all together? Well, the clue that I've got for you here is that it's actually automatic. As long as you dance between that creative system, the phenomenal system, the system of innovation, and this logical, practical system, if you dance back and forth, the energy flows. That's really been the secret all along. It's not a problem getting energy. If you have a job to do, if you got to mow the lawn and you put it into a pattern, then you've got into a logical system where you're adhering to a pattern. It's kind of like following a maze. It's kind of a fun little thing, or putting together a jigsaw puzzle. It's interesting, exciting to see how it's going to work this time. Or you can make it a game of some sort, and then the energy flows. That's it. As long as we stay in the place of innovation, looking for some solution to make this all work and all have a good time here. Yes, a lot of writers will say the energy comes from relationship. Okay, so I'm saying relationship is part of the creative system. It's part of that phenomenal piece that I've got. So it's really one and the same, right? It's just all part of relating to those elements. It has to be innovative. When you sit around and you say, well, I've lost my job. What am I going to do? Blah, blah, blah. And rather than being a funk about it, start imagining things, not one thing, not two things, but 20 things. Write them all down. Engage a little bit. Have some fun with it. Just like you're writing a fantasy story. You are writing a fantasy story. Your life in a different background, in a different world. It's changing. This is what you get to do. Isn't that kind of cool? This is really a cool time. You look around and you say, I can settle for, or I can imagine things a little different. It's not just as easy as like, I make it up. Well, I guess if you're locked down, it probably is just about as easy as you make it up. They got the key. But the truth is that it really doesn't work that way. It works that way in an innovative system. Energy flows in to support it, but you have to then find a way to make it materialize into the logical system. Have to find a path for it to flow. It may alter it a little bit. It may look a little differently than what you imagine it, but that's okay. You're finding a way to, I always call those clues, right? We start out with clues, just like we're lost and we don't know which way to go. I've been out in the woods and thinking, wow, which way to go? And then I look around and I'm thinking, well, the sun's over there. That's kind of south. What time of day is it? East, west? Yeah. So those are clues. That's just clues, right? Or you see a mountain, you say, well, that mountain's to the east. So that's west. I came in from the south and I'm walking north. Am I crazy? I'm going the wrong way. Is it turn around? Keep a focus on that. Those are clues. You start to put clues together and it builds a pathway. When I was in search and rescue, people would come over and say, oh, my husband or my brother or somebody, lost in the woods, can't find them. And the first thing I used to ask them is, if they're just walking down a road, not paying attention, having a conversation, which way do they tend to lean, left or right? And people look at me like I'm crazy, but after a little while, they say, well, that's kind of weird. They do kind of walk to the left, or they do kind of walk to the right. Like we're walking, talking, and it seems like they're crossing my path. I'm on the right side. So it's like, yeah, you're right. They do tend to that. That's a really good clue because it tells me the average person that's lost walks in circles. So if they walk to the right or walk to the left, I know where they were dropped off at. I can start to look into a right circle with search and rescue or to a left circle, depending on that little clue. You see how little clues start to give you references for where people are going, right? what's going on with their life, how do they follow things, right? So get to know you a little better. This is really the time to do it because you're going to be different. Uh, Hopefully, you're going to give up all those old ideas. You're going to think that some savior is going to save you. I'm sorry, that didn't work with the lions, and that doesn't work here, right? Uh, you're going to save you. You're going to find out what you can do. This is the exciting part of this year, 2021. It's kind of like, wow, I get to go on a trail in the woods, like the one in the background. I get to wander out there and I get to find my way through it. I get to find a new solution. 20 years ago, I didn't think I'd be sitting in front of a computer monitor talking to an image of me, thinking, wow, this is exciting. But now today, what's happening in the world is like, okay, I've been the doomsday person for a long time. I really got to get out of that, right? I've been telling everybody that it's all falling apart. Now it's all falling apart. It's okay. Okay, now I've got to go ahead and say, all right, I've been seeking change for my life. I've been changing my life, most certainly. Uh, we're going to have to embrace more change. I have no idea what's coming down the pike. Nobody knows what's coming down the pike. I've been doing a lot of readings, forward thinking, right? I had a tendency to read a lot of background things in the world of psychology, in the world of motivation. People would say something to me when I was young, and I thinking, what are they thinking about? What's going on in their head? I couldn't figure out why they were doing what they were doing, right? I used to wonder for long. I didn't wonder about what I did because that was kind of scary. But but I'd wonder about other people because to me, it wasn't a question of judging them. It was a question of, wow, did I miss something here? Was there a memo sent out by the something another? The angel of light just sent a memo or some silliness like that. No, I'm just kind of thinking, wow, why would someone think that would work? Wow, that was really kind of interesting. Or I watch little people with their little rituals, and I go, okay, I'm cool with the ritual because it's like functioning without thinking. Oh, come on, our subconscious does that all the time for us, right? So I'm okay. Let's set up a ritual. We brush our teeth, and it's a pretty good habit of remembering to brush our teeth, right? It's like, yeah, it worked out pretty good. Look at the amount of tooth decay we used to have 100 years ago and think, wow, dentists did a really good job talking everybody into brushing their teeth and giving toothbrushes to it, right? It was a nice marker for level 4 of being able to move through different stages of human development. So that's kind of a classic example, Anyway, those are developmental pieces. Those we're moving into, we're brushing into, we're going to change. We're going to another set of change. Maybe we'll have a new level or something another, or maybe the world evaluators and analysts will start to change the language of it because of that. They do it on a regular basis too, right? So that's what we're sitting in the middle of. We're going forward. Yes, will we pay more attention to relationships because we're looking for clues. We're imagining things and we're saying, wow, how would I make that work? Or we're imagining this and how am I going to make that work? Oh, wow, that's kind of interesting. Okay, wow. So that's what we're playing with. We're going to be playing with it all year, right? So we're going to give you each month, we're going to give you another little piece. You can read the blogs, kind of go through this a little bit, watch this thing over again, maybe get some pointers. It's a world of searching for clues. And boy, I get so many people said, oh, I didn't get any clues yet. It's like, explain to me your thoughts. What do you dream about? What's going on in your world? I got to squeeze it out of them to have something. I can remember a girl one time that said, oh, life's the same as always. It's kind of, I haven't been around because, it's blah, 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 boring, boring, boring. It's, oh my gosh. And I said, well, what's happened that's been fun and interesting? She says, nothing, Well, what has been weird? She said, well, somebody offered me a job. It was really such a silly job. It's like, I'm going, oh my God, I can't imagine why you wouldn't take that job. And then we sit there and we have a discussion. And it's kind of like, she took the job after I talked her into it. And it changed her whole life. Everything she had been talking about, everything she'd been dreaming about, within 4 years came to fruition for her. It's like, wow. And she was writing it off. She was writing off the clue. And the clue was just a kind of go this way for 10 yards and then turn right. And follow directions will come later. Like, whoa, that didn't seem like very good information, but that was really what we're looking for, like a treasure map. Walk to the big black rock and then look under it, and you'll find a clue to the next segment. Then go due east to the big cross on the hill, whatever. That's the way clues, that's the way innovation unfolds. It's never a complete package. It's a path to producing a package in our world. It's kind of like a recipe for baking a cake. You could go to the store and buy the cake, or you could go buy the ingredients, and you come home and you put it all together. You follow the ingredients. You don't just put it all in a pan at once. You got to follow the steps. You got to heat the oven. You got to do this. You got to do this. You got to grease the pan. All those things you have to do to come out with that cake, right? That's just all clues. You could call them a recipe. You could call them a map. Mapping is the term they usually refer to. Then I sound like every author in the world, so I'm just saying clues, right? Use whatever word you like. I don't really care. It's not going to be complete. It's not the end all. It's just a starting point. It gives you a directional piece. The energy is going to flow as soon as you start to entertain it. It's like anytime you get excited, you get excited, it's like, let's do it, right? No doubt about it. That's what flows into it, okay? So that's what we get to play with, all right? My job is to inspire you a little bit. Read the blog, take a look at that. Start looking for clues. It's going to take you several months looking for clues, I'll guarantee you. But we're starting to work with, this is all about the energy. I'm getting a little bit into next month. I get enthused and excited. But I want you to see how it all, my idea in here is to draw the bigger picture, right? We're tired of complaining. We're tired of looking around saying what happened to the way that used to be. Were we going to go back to the way it used to be? No, I don't think so. That ain't going to happen, right? Right. If the old couch is worn out and it's ready to go to the trash and the arms are falling off of it and the cushions are all sprung down and springs are sticking out of it, you're going to look at it and say, is it going to go back to the old days? No, I don't think so. It's going to go out to the trash. That's what it's going to do. You're going to get a new one, right? And the new one will be made differently. Might not be as good or might be better, right? Because we don't know, right? This is interesting. Innovations sometimes make it cheaper to produce, but not necessarily better. And sometimes innovation makes it a better product. And sometimes it's more expensive and sometimes it's less expensive. There's a lot of variables. This is what's really fun with this. You got to live around long enough to see this stuff unfold. And it's like, wow, that's really interesting, really intriguing. Okay, so I've talked and talked and talked. I think I probably talked enough. You got the drift of it. This is really simple. Don't worry about the power for it. As long as you're in the sense of innovation, don't get into the sense of, oh, why me, Lord? No. You got, like, give me a new idea. I want something to spirit me on. I want something to be excited about. That's exactly where you want to go. So have fun with this. I'm going to shut up now and have a good time. All right. Thanks.